Hello everybody. I just wanted to share some of the resources and ways your students are learning about polygons and quadrilaterals, which we started this week. So first we put together this book of polygons, which has a lot of helpful information in it for them. They learned that a polygon is any shape that has straight sides and is closed. We drew several examples that help them remember that a polygon can have any number of sides as long as all of them are straight and they're connected. They can even look wonky like this shape over here. We also drew some pictures of shapes that are not polygons because they have curves or they're open. They're not completely connected. Some shapes could have both straight lines and curved and might throw them kind of a curved ball like this shape. The shape of a ticket. It has 4 straight lines, but also curves, so that's not a polygon. Then, students learned how to name polygons by using the number of sides that they have. Students learned to count the number of sides by ticking them off with their marker or pencil and counting as they go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That helps them not get mixed up when they're counting the number of sides, especially for those crazy looking ones that we looked at earlier. Something important is that they need to memorize the names of the polygons from triangles all the way up to decagons, which have 10 sides. It can be helpful that the beginnings of the names all mean the number of sides that they're describing. For example, triangle, T-R-I, means 3. Like a tricycle has 3 wheels, or a triceratops has 3 horns. Quad means 4, penta means 5, hex means 6, and so on and so forth all the way up to decagon. Some of them have some easy tricks to help them. We already talked about triangle being like tricycle or triceratops. Octagon makes them think of octopus with 8 tentacles. Decagon sounds like decade, which they've learned is 10 years. And then nonagon, we learned that it kind of sounds like 9 and non. Sometimes we say nineagon if we're being silly. Then some of the other shapes like hex, we remember because there's an X in 6 and in hex. And then ones like heptagon, we can fill in once we have the rest of them. Another way that I've been trying to help them memorize the shapes is by having them count in what we're calling the language of Polygon, which is where they count using the shape names instead of numbers. So they start with 1, 2, and then count triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, nonagon, decagon. After they learned all of their polygons, we moved into special polygons, which we're talking about quadrilaterals because there's lots of different types. And in the book, they have pictures and definitions that they can use as a resource. But we also have something that we call the Quadrilateral Hotel that you probably saw as they had their homework on the back of it earlier this week. So we tell them that in the Quadrilateral Hotel, all polygons can come in, but only quadrilaterals can go up. So we started by labeling, okay, polygons are closed and have straight sides. So any shapes with curves are not polygons. And then we moved up, and on the first floor, quadrilaterals can stay here. A quadrilateral is simply a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles. So then we can go through and cross out any shapes that don't have those characteristics. When you move up a level, you have quadrilaterals that have 1 pair of parallel sides, which means the opposite sides are parallel to each other. For instance, in this shape, this side is parallel to the one below it, but these two are not parallel. So it only has 1 set, making it a trapezoid. This shape doesn't have any sides that are parallel. This has 1, and this shape has 2 sets of parallel sides. Here is 1 set, and this way is a second set. that means this shape can't be a trapezoid, because trapezoids we say are trapped with just one set. The same with this shape. It has two sets, so it can't be a trapezoid. Then they move up the quadrilateral hotel and get to parallelograms. Parallelograms have two pairs of parallel sides. So all shapes with two pairs of parallel sides and four sides is a parallelogram, which means one set of parallel sides, two sets of parallel sides. So you can cross off all the shapes that don't have two sets. You notice some of the shapes here are squares and rectangles, and those get classified further up into the last three classifications. Then we have a rhombus here, which is a parallelogram with four congruent sides, and we've learned that congruent means the same. So that means that rhombuses have four sides that are all the same length. Then rectangles are parallelograms with four right angles. So every single angle has to make a perfect L. And if you move up, squares get to stay at the top because they're the most special shape. They're parallelograms with four right angles and four congruent sides. So four sides all of the same length. One more thing that's important to note about this is that these shapes have multiple classifications. So square is a parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel sides, and a square is a quadrilateral, and a square is a polygon. So it's helpful to show them that they can name each of these things separate names. A rhombus is a parallelogram, and a quadrilateral, and a polygon. I hope that this was helpful. I'm also going to send home some flashcards that you can simply fold over and then use multiple ways front to back, so they can name the traits of a shape. The traits are on the back, or they can decide what shape is being described with those traits. All right, thanks so much for listening.